Hello everyone. So let us now come to visual literacy. So ano nga ba ang visual literacy? When we say that visually literate, it means that people are able to understand, to read, to interpret, to analyze, or even create visual images. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin visually literate, it means that people are not able to look only at the pictures or videos or artworks, but also they can understand, they can interpret the message that is being communicated or that is being shown in that particular pieces of art. So, say for example, kapag nakakakita tayo ng traffic light, when we see a red circle that has a line across it, diba it means prohibited, it means to stop, it means bawal. So, that is visual literacy. By just even looking at the pictures without words, the image already communicates a message and we already understand what it is trying to say. That is visual literacy, to be able to understand images with only visuals and with no words, trying to say the message across us explicitly. And the term visual literacy was first introduced by John Debs in 1969, who explained that it involves vision competencies developed through seeing and integrating sensory experiences. So this means that people learn to understand visuals hindi lang basta-basta by looking, but also but through connecting what they see with their experiences, with knowledge and understanding of the world. So, according to John Debs, kapag visually literate ka, you just don't understand things through seeing, but also interpreting what you see with whatever is happening or whatever you have experienced in your life and being able to make a meaning out of it so that you can um, formed a complete opinion about it. So, Oxford Research Encyclopedia also explains that visual literacy is the ability to interpret and make meaningful information presented in form of images. So, 'di ba normally kapag literacy it just refers to reading and writing text, but visual literacy expanded this idea into understanding pictures and visual communication. So, like what I have said earlier, it is literacy without having to read a text. It is a literacy of understanding an image alone and being able to interpret it based on own experiences and based on connecting it to what is happening around you. So, lastly, according to Frank Sefrafini, visual literacy is a set of cognitive skills and strategies used to understand visual images. So, in simple terms, this literacy helps us understand the message, the emotions, the meanings behind visuals that we encountered every day. So, what is the importance of visual literacy? Why do we have to be visually literate? First, because it helps us improve our comprehension and critical thinking skills, di ba? Because visuals helps us understand information faster and more clearly, correct? Sometimes merong mga complex ideas that we cannot understand by reading words alone or by just reading plain text. Kaya naman through charts, diagrams, posters, illustrations, images, mas nakakaiintindihan natin ang ibig sabihin ng isang bagay if there is a visual representation of what it really is trying to communicate to us. Say for example, tayong mga science major, mas naiintindihan natin ang ibang mga topics if there is a visual presentations. Halimbawa, human digestive system, mas naiintindihan natin kung paano ba nangyayari ang digestion if there is an animations, if there are labeled diagrams, if there is an actual physical model that we can manipulate para mas maintindihan natin yung concept. That is for visual literacy. It helps us improve our comprehension of things. Next, it also strengthens our critical thinking skills because mas tinutulungan tayo to analyze ano ba ang gustong iparating ng visual na ito. Is it um is it accurate? Is it trying to mislead us? Is this visual biased? Is this visual persuasive? Is this visual trying to gauge an argument? 'Di ba? So it strengthens our critical thinking skills kasi napapaisip tayo kung ano ba ang mensaheng pinapadala niya at kung paano ba ito tatanggapin or paano ba yung iba't ibang tao na may iba't ibang perspectives will make a meaning out of it. So it improves our critical thinking skills. Second, visual literacy helps interpreting media such as advertisement, social media posts, and news. So dito, lalo na ngayon that social media is very rampant and we are constantly exposed to visual informations online. Because of visual literacy, kaya na nating ma-identify whether a picture or a video is edited, whether it is promoting false information, is the advertisement trying to manipulate an emotion, or whether a news may present bias. Tama ba ang news na ibinabahagi sa atin? Is it biased? Kulang ba? Sobra ba? 'Di ba? Visual literacy helps us to identify or interpret medias that we are constantly being exposed to. For example, may mga kumpanya na gagamit ng different colors on their visuals, different facial advertisement para ma-influence nila yung customers nila emotionally. Through that, mas naiengganyo ang mga customer nila na bumili sa kanila through that advertisement, di ba? Say for example, then sa mga books, ako kasi as a reader, minsan, nagbe-base talaga ako sa kung maganda ba yung cover or not in deciding on whether to read the book or hindi. So, visual literacy allows us to understand what the thing is trying to tell us. What story would it be just by reading the text alone without even having to read any text with it. So, third, visual literacy support learning in subjects like science, mathematics, and arts. So, especially in mathematics, di ba kung formula lang talagang mahirap. But thankfully, there are graphs, there are geometric figures that can help explain equations and relationships. In science naman, to us, thankfully, there are illustrations, there are models that helps us understand the processes of science. Say, for example, photosynthesis or blood circulation, di ba? Sa mga arts students naman, mas naiintindihan ng mga estudyante ang iba't ibang elements of arts upon seeing paintings, designs, and visual composition. So, visual literacy supports learning in subjects across different fields. Lastly, visual literacy encourage creativity and communication. So, if people are capable of reading visuals, they became capable not only of understanding visuals but also being able to create their own visual images such as posters, presentations, infographics, videos, and digital content. So, syempre, kapag visually literate ka, magiging visually competent ka na rin to create your own visuals and make your messages or communicate your messages across other people through the forms of different media presentation. So, kaya mo nang gumawa ng posters, 'di ba? Kaya mo nang gumawa ng mga videos, ng digital contents. Kung gusto mong meron kang ipaparating sa iba, yun na yung pwede mong gawing paraan if you are not good with communicating it through words. Diba? So, these are the importance of visual literacy. It helps us across many other fields and encourage us to engage in creativity and communicating with other people. Okay, for next slide, we are going to discuss the four major components of visual literacy. We have the perception, interpretation, evaluation, and creation. So, the first component is perception. Ano ba ito? It is the ability to notice and recognize visual elements like colors, shapes, lines, and textures, and even patterns using the senses. So it is considered the first step in understanding visual information because bago pa man maka-interpret ng meaning ang mga tao, by
L'arte
seeing the
casearia
visual,
è
they
cosa
must first
seria e
observe
se
what
quando
is
lo
present
mangi
in that
la
particular
papilla
visual. Say for
gustativa
example,
si impazzisce
looking at a warning
per
sign,
quanto
diba?
godi,
People perceives bright
allora
red
con
color
latte di
and bold
bufala
shape
stai
before
gustando
understanding its meaning.
il
That
riserva
is
bianca
perception.
di
You
Bella
have to
Lodi.
observe first
Un'altra
what is present, ano ba ang nandun
eccellenza
sa mga imaheng ito bago ka
italiana.
makapag-formulate ng meaning behind it. The second component is interpretation. This is the process of giving meaning to what we see. This happens when us people
Pura
connect
e
visuals with
semplice
our experiences, with knowledge, with emotions,
poesia
and context. So say for
enchanté.
example, nakakita tayo ng dark clouds na painting, and this may be interpreted as a sign of an approaching storm because people associate with those visuals with rainy weather. And the third component is the evaluation. So evaluation refers to critically assessing a visual message. So people determine whether the information is reliable, is accurate, or misleading, or is it intended to influence viewers. So halimbawa sa isang social media post, visually literate individuals question whether the image is edited, manipulated ba to, misleading ba, or aligned ba yung visual sa caption na nakapost, ganon. So, it allows us to critically evaluate the message para mas maintindihan natin kung ano ba yung message na pinaparating. The fourth component is creation. So, creation is the skill of producing visual content that communicate ideas effectively. So this includes designing posters, creating presentations, drawing illustrations, editing videos, or producing infographics. So say for example, tayong mga students, gumagawa tayo ng PowerPoint presentation para makapag-report tayo at hindi lang natin basta-basta ituturo but also to let them relate to what we are discussing through showing examples of images or videos using colors or layouts to strategically communicate informations clearly. So these are the four components of visual literacy. Okay, next is the elements of visual design, which are the basic components used to create a visual composition. So the first element is line. Line is a continuous mark that defines shapes, create boundaries, and guide the viewer's eyes. So it can be straight, curved, thick, thin, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. So say for example, sa isang diagram, merong arrows, di ba, na nag-guide sa atin towards an important information. That is the element of line. Second element is shape. These are two-dimensional areas formed by boundaries such as lines or colors. So shape can be geometric, like squares or circles, or organic, like natural forms found in nature. So say for example, logos often use shape to represent and identify meaning. Di ba sa mga logos ng companies, merong mga shape, circle, ganon, na mas makakatulong para mas ma-identify natin kung anong company ba ito, kung sino ba to. Nag-establish sila ng pangalan nila through using shapes as their main element of visual identity. Next is the color. Of course, color adds emotion. It gives meaning, it gives emphasis, and it sets the mood of the visual that we are looking at. So different colors, of course, create different emotional responses. So say for example, kapag red, it may symbolize danger. Tama? It may symbolize passion or energy. Kapag blue naman, it often symbolizes calmness, di ba? Like for example, a painting of an ocean, di ba? Green is always associated with nature and growth, correct? So, yung mga advertisers and mga designers, they carefully choose colors to influence audience emotionally. Next, the fourth element is texture. So, texture refers to the surface quality of an object, whether real or implied. It creates an illusion of how something feels. Say for example, picture ng isang puno na may rough tree bark, 'di ba? It parang binibigyan tayo ng sense of understanding na yung kung anong klase yung texture ng puno na yon, even if you cannot physically touch it. Just by looking at it and just by looking at the element of texture, it gives us an emphasis of what it truly looks like in real life. The fifth element is space. Space refers to the area around, between, or within visual elements. So, proper spacing creates balance, it creates focus, and it creates organization. So, say for example, crowded designs becomes difficult to read. Tama? Kapag masyadong dikit-dikit yung isang designs, parang hindi mo na maiintindihan kung ano ba yung gusto niyang ipalabas, ano ba yung meaning na ikinu-communicate niya with us. But proper spacing improves clarity. Diba? So the sixth element is form. It refers to the three-dimensional objects that have weight, width, and length. So for example, yung mga sculptures and 3D models, they show form because they occupy physical space. Say for example, si Roberto sa ating physics lab, 'di ba? It is a model na that occupies a physical space that allows us to understand clearly the human anatomical system. Now we have visual literacy in education. So what does visual literacy's role in education? First, it helps students understand complex topics. Visual aids like diagrams, flowcharts, and illustrations simplify difficult lessons. Kagaya nga ng nasabi ko kanina sa ating mga science majors that has too much complex topics and concepts in the science subject, kailangan natin ng visual literacy para mas matulungan tayo to understand complex ideas. For example, anatomy. 'Di ba? Mahirap pag-aralan ang mga body organs, ang organ systems na hindi naman natin nakikitali. It may be inside our body, but how are we supposed to understand its complexity if we cannot see it? So therefore, we are being aided with labeled images and more importantly, models and diagrams para mas maintindihan natin yung mga prosesong nangyayari sa loob ng ating katawan. Second, visual literacy enhances memory retention. So, merong mga research studies na nagpapatunay na ang mga tao daw, meron daw mga tao na mas nakakapag-remember ng information better when visuals are included because our brain processes image faster than text. So, di ba? For example, may mga estudyante na mas naaalala yung mga images, mga visuals like diagrams, like models or illustrations kesa sa mga mahahabang paragraphs. So, merong mga estudyante na more on visual learning talaga na mas nahihirapang makaintindi kung walang visual presentations aiding them. Next, it's encourage engagement. So, students became more interested, become active during lessons if there are included visual materials such as animations or interactive presentation. So kapag merong mga mas may visual presentations, mas naiengganyo ang mga bata na makinig at maging active or mag-participate sa recitation kasi mas naiintindihan nila yung topic na pinag-aaralan nyo. And lastly, it supports different learning styles. Like what I have said, merong mga estudyante na visual learner. So, iba-iba tayo. Merong mga student na kahit text lang, naiintindihan na agad. Pero meron din namang iba na kailangan din ng visuals para mas maintindihan nila ang isang topic. And to be visually literate is to support different learning styles because rather than just listening or reading, visual materials help students accommodate their needs and improve their understanding. So this is the role of visual literacy and education, and it is very important, especially for us future educators, to be visually literate so that we can integrate visual materials in our teaching strategies so that we can accommodate and we can address the different learning needs of our students. Now, let us move to verbal literacy. Ano naman ang verbal literacy? From the word verbal, it means the ability to express ideas, emotions, and thoughts using words in original and imaginative ways. And this skill is very important because communication plays a major role in daily life, in education, in leadership, and professional work. And so, to be verbally creative person means to be able to explain ideas clearly or tell engaging stories, write effectively, and communicates informations and emotions properly. So we have divergent thinking to support verbal literacy. Pag sinabi natin divergent thinking, it is the ability to generate many different ideas, solutions, or responses from a single problem or situation. So, instead of focusing only on one correct answer, ang mga divergent thinkers encourages creativity, a flexibility of imagination. So here we have the slide, the diagram for divergent thinking, which presents major components. The first type is ideational fluency. Pag sinabi natin ideational fluency, it is the ability to produce many ideas quickly. So, ang isang taong may strong ideational fluency can think of numerous possible answers or solutions within a short period of time. Say for example, kapag tinanong mo ang isang student na divergent thinking, ano ang kaya mong gawin sa isang paperclip? A person with high ideational fluency might answer, use it to hold papers, di ba? Paperclip can hold papers. Make jewelry out of a paperclip. Unlock a lock using a paperclip. Create a mini art using a paperclip, or even use it as a bookmark, and many more. So, ang focus here sa ideational fluency is the quantity of ideas generated. So, kung gaano kadami yung ideas o solutions na ma-generate mo for a one single problem. That is ideational fluency, to be fluent in many ideas. The second type is flexibility. Of course, the ability to shift perspectives and think in different categories or approaches. So, ang mga flexible thinkers, kaya nilang mag-adapt or i-adapt ang thinking nila and consider different viewpoints. So, say for example, ang school natin sa BISCAS wants to reduce plastic waste. And a flexible thinker may suggest na pwede tayong gumamit ng reusable bottles, pwedeng gumawa ng recycling programs, pwedeng mag-promote ng digital notes instead of using paper, pwedeng mag-organize ng campaigns or mag-encourage ng eco-friendly packaging. So, each solutions comes from a different perspectives or category. So, isang divergent thinker ay flexible sa iba't ibang usapin. So, hindi siya nakafocus lang sa isang perspective that would benefit himself or herself, but rather, she or he is viewing a situation in different standpoint or perspectives so that mas maiintindihan niya kung gaano ba kalaki yung scope ng isang bagay na pinag-uusapan. That is flexibility, to be flexible in understanding and creating an understanding of a certain things. So the third type is elaboration. It refers to the ability to expand and develop ideas by adding details, explanations, or improvements. So, pag elaboration, ibig sabihin, ini-elaborate mo yung isang bagay, ini-expand mo yung isang bagay more than its surface level meaning. Say, for example, instead of saying, gumawa tayo ng recycling program, an elaborate thinker may explains that ang recycling program saan dapat naka-place ang recycling bins, paano ba makakatulong ang students para mag-separate ng waste, how collected materials will be processed, and how rewards can motivate participation. So, yung in-explain ng elaborative thinker na yon is in-elaborate niya kung ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng recycling program na gusto nating ipatupad. This makes the idea more clear, richer, and practical. So, mas in-explain mo, mas naintindihan nila kasi pinalawak mo yung idea into something practical and very specific. So, another component of divergent thinking, is originality. It means producing your own unique, unusual, and common ideas that are typical from a different response. So, example, kapag gagawa ng ordinary classroom project, ang isang divergent thinker na may originality, gagawa siya ng isang kakaibang bagay na hindi pareho sa isang common na magagawa ng iba. So, these are, di ba, kapag divergent thinker ka, you think of an idea that has not been think of yet by other people, and it is something that you yourself have think of, or 'di ba, hindi common na ideas, parang isang kakaibang ideas na ikaw lang ang nakaisip based on how you want to understand things. So overall, this diagram explains that divergent thinking is not only about producing many ideas, but also about being flexible, being detailed, and providing original solutions. So, and these skills are very important in verbal creativity or problem solving skills so that we can innovate learning and communicate better with other people. Okay, now what is the importance of verbal literacy? Bakit importante na verbally literate ang mga tao? First, because it enhances communication skills. Okay, so communication is essential in our everyday life. Of course, we use communication at school, at home, workplaces, and social interactions. And a person with strong verbal literacy can explain ideas clearly, can listen actively, can choose the right appropriate words at every situation, and avoid misunderstanding. So it is important that we can articulate very well. We have a lot of vocabularies and we know how to use them appropriately so that we can avoid having misunderstanding with other people. So, say for example, as a future educator, it is very important for us to have a good verbal literacy because we are going to be communicating our whole career with our students, diba? So, pinapractice natin yan through class reporting, diba? We should have a good verbal literacy so that we can explain concepts in an organized and understandable way. So, instead of giving short or confusing answers, we can elaborate our thoughts clearly so that our listeners or our students can fully understand the topic. So, good communication also helps in relationships with friends, with peers, with co-workers, and with other people in the community. So it is important for us to be verbally literate so that we can be better at expressing our feelings, resolving conflicts with others, and also understanding others. The second important is that it encourages critical and imaginative thinking. So when individual develops verbal skills, they also improve. Okay. So when individuals develop verbal skills, they also improve their ability to analyze situations, evaluate ideas, and think creatively. Kasi ang language, it is connected to thought. Okay, so the better the people become at expressing ideas, the better they become at organizing and developing those ideas mentally. Say for example, in debates, mga student, bago sila mag-counter-attack ng arguments, they first analyze the arguments carefully. So they identify the strengths and weaknesses, and they respond logically. This strengthens the critical thinking skills. At the same time, verbal literacy encourages imagination, di ba? Mga writers, storytellers, speakers, they use creative language to make ideas more interesting and engaging. So, say for example, sa mga binabasa nating story, di ba? Novels, fantasies, dystopian stories. Halimbawa, instead of saying, the classroom was noisy, ang isang manunulat, ang isang creative speaker might put it this way. The classroom is buzzed like a crowded marketplace filled with endless conversation. Diba? That is how to create a strong mental image for listeners or readers. So if you are verbally literate, you can choose the right words and make a creative statement out of it so that it can resonate with your readers and your listeners. It promotes imaginative thinking not just to you as the writer, but also to the people as the receiving end of what you are trying to communicate with them. So, the third importance of verbal literacy is it is useful in storytelling, debates, and writing. So many activities in education and in professional life require strong verbal skills. Almost every professional man requires a strong verbal skills, and students tayo, we write essays, we present reports, we participate in discussions, and we explain ideas regularly. So, for example, teachers use verbal literacy to explain lessons. Lawyers use verbal literacy to defend arguments persuasively. Ang mga journalists gumagamit ng verbal literacy to report information accurately. And leaders use verbal literacy to inspire and motivate people. So this is an example of how verbal literacy influence different field of profession. Sa storytelling naman, the application of verbal literacy is very important because it allows people to communicate experiences, emotions, lessons, and culture in meaningful ways. Okay. The last importance of verbal literacy is that it helps express emotions and ideas effectively. So, sometimes may mga tao who struggles to communicate their how they truly feel. So verbal literacy helps them to choose words that are appropriate to describe their emotions and thoughts without having to offend other people or without having to invalidate other people. So say for example, instead of simply saying I'm sad, a person with a stronger verbal skills may explain, I feel disappointed because I worked hard but I did not achieve what the result I was expecting. Diba? So instead of just plainly saying how you felt, you explained why you felt that way. So that creates a clearer emotional expression and deeper understanding between people. So overall, verbal literacy is very essential because it strengthens communication, creativity, confidence, emotional expression, and of course, intellectual development of every individual. Now, For the characteristics of verbally creative or verbally literate people, first we have is fluent in expressing ideas. So fluency means the ability to communicate clearly, smoothly, continuously, without struggling too much for words. So, ang mga verbally fluent na individuals, they can organize their ideas quickly and explain them naturally. So, say for example, in a class discussion during recitation, a verbally literate people are able to answer questions immediately and explain their reasonings clearly. This fluency is important because mas natutulungan tayo to communicate our thoughts in a natural flow so that yung mga listeners natin, mas madali nila tayong naiintindihan when it comes to what we wanted them to understand. So, however, fluency is not only about speaking fast, it is more about expressing ideas meaningfully and coherently. So, hindi ibig sabihin fluent, mabilis magsalita. It means you are able to express your thoughts in a clear and organized way and that your listeners can comprehend it just by listening to you. The second is flexible in thinking. So, dito naman, flexibility means the ability to adjust perspectives and consider different approaches when communicating ideas. So, ang mga flexible thinkers, they can adapt their language depending on the audience, the situation, or the purpose. So, say for example, ang scientists, they will adapt or use technical terms for researchers. A teacher may simplify an explanation for students, and a social media creator may use relatable examples for the public. So, yung mga example na yon shows that depending on the audience and the situation, flexible thinkers can use their language or use their verbal literacy to choose appropriate words so that their audience can understand them better. Specifically, ay kasi sila yung target audience or sila yung dapat nakakaintindi nung gusto mong i-convey. So, this ability to adapt communication demonstrates flexibility. Kasi ang mga flexible thinkers are open-minded. They consider multiple viewpoints and alternative solutions instead of focusing only on one idea. And the third is the original in response. So, pag originality, ibig sabihin, nagpo-produce ka ng sarili mong ideas that stand out from ordinary responses. So, an original verbal creative person, hindi siya ulit-ulit. Okay? They avoid being repetitive or redundant, or they avoid saying predictable answers. Instead, they create a fresh perspectives and imaginative expression. Say for example, di ba common na yung mga phrases na success means achieving goals. Pero kung original responser ang kausap mo na verbally literate, pwede niyang sabihin na success is turning failures into stepping stones toward growth. Diba? That response is more creative and memorable because it uses figurative language and deeper interpretation. And originality is very important in writing or in public speaking is because unique ideas attract attention and inspire others. The fourth characteristic is elaborative and explanations. So, elaboration kasi means extending the ideas, correct? By adding supporting details. Diba? And ang mga elaborative communicators, hindi sila nagbibigay ng mga hindi kompletong sagot. Instead, they develop ideas fully so listeners understand deeply. Say for example, instead of saying reading is important, an elaborative communicator may explain that reading improves vocabulary, strengthens comprehension, and develops imagination, and it exposes people to different cultures, perspectives, and experiences. So, yung second explanation na yon is mas informative siya and mas engaging kasi mas pinaliwanag niya kung bakit importante ang reading. That is an example of elaboration. It Especially, it is important in academic writing and reporting because kailangan ng detailed explanation para mas rich yung communication na maibigay natin sa ibang tao. So those are the characteristics of a verbally creative people. Okay, since napag-usapan na natin kung ano ba ang mga characteristics ng isang verbally literate or verbally creative people, ito naman ang mga techniques on how to develop verbal creativity. So first, we have brainstorming. Brainstorming is the process of generating many ideas freely without immediate judging or criticizing them. Diba? Nag-brainstorm ka, and the purpose of this is to encourage creativity and ideas to flow naturally. So say for example, kapag tayo mga students, we are asked to create a project about environmental protection, magbe-brainstorm muna tayo ng mga multiple possibilities such as recycling campaigns, eco-friendly products, digital video awareness, the tree planting activities. Brainstorming helps us develop our imagination, our confidence, and idea generation skills. After mag-brainstorm, we now have the second technique, which is free writing. So free writing naman, it involves writing continuously for a specific amount of time without worrying too much about grammar, spelling, or organization. So sa free writing, magsusulat ka lang ng magsusulat. Well, hindi mo na mag-worry kung tama ba yung grammar, yung structure ng words mo. You just have to write freely so that it will help you express your thoughts freely and overcome the fear of making mistakes. So, say for example, magsulat ka lang non-stop for 5 minutes about your dreams, your experiences, or your opinions. It will encourage spontaneous thinking, di ba? Yung bigla ang pag-iisip and bigla ang creativity in writing. And very important itong technique na ito because it allows you to be independent and it allows your individuality as a verbal creative person to just write and write until you're able to do it in a manner that is effective when it comes to communication. The third technique is reading. This is very important. Reading is one of the most effective ways to improve our verbal literacy because na-expose tayo sa iba't ibang klase sa malalawak na vocabulary, sa sentence structures, na-expose tayo sa iba't ibang writing styles ng iba't ibang authors, sa ideas, sa perception. So, for example, reading novels improve storytelling ability. Reading poetry improves emotional expression. Reading informative articles improves vocabulary and analytical terms and thinkings. So, kapag regularly ang pagbabasa ng isang tao, mas nagiging better sila at communications because nagkakaroon sila ng wider knowledge each day para magkaroon ng richer knowledge or language skills. Diba? Kaya it is very important to just read. And reading and writing are two things that should go hand in hand para mas ma-develop mo yung verbal creativity mo. Because if you're exposed to different language and writing styles, you can also develop your own writing styles by learning it from the things or the stories that you have been reading. Diba? So, the fourth technique is playing board games. Correct. Ano yun tawag doon, yung mga board games na mag-iisip ng mga words and just in that spontaneous thinking kasi mas na-improve dito yung vocabulary natin and yung creativity. Say for example, Scrabble, di ba? It improves spelling and vocabulary. Yung charades naman, it improves verbal and non-verbal communications with other people. Diba? So, itong mga games na ito, ini-encourage nito yung mga players to think quickly and to communicate effectively with others. The fifth technique is storytelling. So, kapag nagawa mo na yung mga techniques, try mo nang mag-storytell. I-try mo nang magkwento sa iba with your own writing skills or with your own verbal skills that you have learned because storytelling, it develops imagination, it develops emotional expression, and it develops organizations of ideas and communication skills. So, kapag ang isang tao nagtetell ng mga stories, natututunan nila kung paano ba mag-structure ng events ng malinaw at sunod-sunod using introductions, conflicts, climax, and conclusions. So, say for example, kapag ang mga teacher nag-incorporate ng storytelling sa kanilang lesson, mas na-engage yung mga batang makinig kasi nakakapture yung attention nila at mas natutulungan ang mga students to remember the information better. And also, storytelling, it strengthens our confidence because individuals practice speaking and expressing emotions in front of others. So these are the techniques that would help us to develop our verbal creativity, and these are very important to help us improve in being a verbally literate individuals. Okay, so for the last slide of verbal creativity, verbal literacy, we have the verbal creativity in education. So ano ba ang importance? Ano ba ang indications or ano ba ang implications at role ni verbal creativity sa edukasyon? First, it improves writing and speaking skills not just of students but also the teachers. So, ang mga students sa loob ng paaralan, they constantly use verbal communication during essays, reports, presentations, or recitations. So, verbal creativity helps students explain ideas more clearly, creatively, and effectively. The same way with teachers whose job revolves around being able to communicate effectively not just with their students but also with other co-workers and with the people in the community. Second, verbal creativity helps in expressing ideas clearly. So, some students understand lessons internally, naiintindihan nila internally, but they struggle to explain it. So, si verbal creativity ang magsi-strengthen to that ability to organize thoughts logically and communicate them effectively. So, say for example, kapag magre-report, verbally creative students can simplify complicated concepts using examples and relatable explanations. So, di ba, kapag magre-report tayo, magagamit tayo ng examples or even analogy so that the complex ideas that are too hard to understand with just words only can be relatable for students to understand using examples. So, that is a verbal creativity to be able to think of ways on how you communicate those lessons or concepts with others in a more engaging and relatable way. Third, verbal creativity encourages participation. Of course, students who are confident in communications are more willing to participate in discussions and debates and collaborative activities. So, instead of staying silent kasi takot silang mabash or pagtawanan kasi hindi sila verbally gaanong magaling, they become more comfortable in sharing their opinions and asking questions. If the classroom is made as a safe space for them to learn, to make mistakes, and improve their verbal creativity and their verbal literacy skills, di ba? Mas may improve ang classroom interactions and the relationships of students with each other and with their teachers if the classroom is a space for them to actually learn, if it is space enough for them to express themselves freely kahit na mamali-mali pa sila minsan. Lastly, verbal creativity and education develops confidence. So, as students improve their communication skills, mas nagiging confident sila in expressing themselves publicly. So, and it's very important on confidence because it helps students to actively engage not just in academics but also in leaderships, in future careers, and in society as a whole. So overall, verbal creativity strengthens communication, strengthens critical thinking, imagination, confidence, academic performance, making it an essential skills in education and in our everyday life.